Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club.
Sorry. I'm sorry you're here. You're trapped with us now, though. All the doors are locked and the windows are barred. You have no choice but to watch our PowerPoint presentation.
This is one of those parties where everyone has to bring a PowerPoint presentation. And we've brought a doozy of a one. I'm Mike.
I'm not.
Welcome. Play the theme song.
Our PowerPoint does come with theme songs and clips.
Where on earth is Carmen Sandiego?
Where is Carmen Sandiego? Carmen Sandiego. Where on earth can she be? Tell me where is Carmen Sandiego? Carmen Sandiego. Where on earth can she be? Where on earth can she be? Mona Lisa. Lady Tower Lisa. Timbuktu, can you help us by the
We watched Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego this week.
How old is she?
She turns 40.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know. She's older than me.
Wow. And she's still doing crimes.
She's still doing crime. Well, I think in the newest stuff, she's now become kind of a hero figure.
You know, that makes sense because I don't think as a kid I realized that I was chasing around a criminal the whole time. I was like, she's the main character. I'm like, oh, she's just going on world adventures.
Yeah, I never
She's
really
a
thought that much
well-traveled
about it.
woman.
I didn't watch a lot of Carmen Sandiego because the game shows, I don't remember them being on when I was a kid.
Right.
But this show I remember.
I played some of the games.
I see, I never played any of the games. I remember this show being on TV. I didn't watch it.
I didn't pay attention to the games. It was like something we would do in computer lab because it's edutaining.
I see. I didn't watch this show, and I think it was largely because of this theme song that we just heard.
This incredible theme song?
Oh, did you like it?
No.
No.
And it only gets worse.
It's really bad. It's the way the singers sound reminded me of, you know, when you would watch a Disney movie in the 90s and you get to the credits and then it's like they've brought in a celebrity pop star to perform one of the songs from the movie, but it's a crap version of the song
No.
because they're trying too hard to be a singer.
I didn't have the Disney Channel.
I don't know about the movies. You've seen Aladdin. You've seen The Lion King.
I don't remember what you're talking about, though.
Oh, every single one of them, when it got to the end credits of the movie, they would play a pop star performing one of the earlier songs.
I don't think I've watched a Disney cartoon in probably 25 years.
Wow. You should, they're fun. So this is actually a Mozart song.
The Mozart?
Yeah, it's from the opera Die Entführung aus dem Serail.
That's definitely German. Flawless pronunciation.
It's the abduction from the Seraglio. And the song is called Singt dem groben Basalieder.
Cool.
Which apparently means sing songs of the Great Pasha.
Cool.
I looked up a YouTube video of the original song.
Yeah.
And the comments were about 70% Carmen Sandiego references.
Why?
And about 30% confused opera fans trying to figure out what everyone else was talking about.
Why all the Carmen Sandiego fans were here?
Yeah.
Fan Diegos, if you will.
So yeah, not a great theme song. I don't like it. Also, we were spoiled by the last show, which had a fantastic theme song.
That's true. We were spoiled by the last show in general. That show is a
Yeah.
lot of fun. This
Yeah.
one, not so much.
Not so much. But this show did get 4 seasons.
Jesus.
Yeah, 40 episodes.
There's too much edu and not enough tainment.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. This aired starting on February 5th, 1994 on Fox Kids' Saturday morning block. Apparently Broderbund were a lot more involved in the production of this one than they were with the game shows. It sounds like the reason for that is that with the game shows, they were being made and aired on PBS. So, PBS did Sesame Street and stuff like that. So I think Broderbund just kind of trusted them with it.
Yeah.
But with this show, since it was airing on Fox, they were worried that it was going to be too violent if they didn't supervise it. Yeah, because it was airing alongside like X-Men and Power Rangers.
Oh, right. Power Rangers is so violent.
Right, because I was thinking about that because I was watching Power Rangers at this time, and violent is not what Power Rangers was.
Like, I'll give you X-Men, but not Power Rangers. I was watching that when I was like 4 and 5 years old.
Yeah. The show's produced by Deke.
We know them.
We do. They made Captain N. They made most of the Mario and Sonic shows we've watched. They're getting around. This is probably my least favorite of the things that they made that we've seen.
Yeah.
We watched the first episode, which is called The Stolen Smile. And for some reason, it needed 3 whole people to write this.
Yeah. They needed to do the research for all the fun facts.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. One person writing the show, one person doing all the research, and one person to supervise both of them.
One person to tie them all together.
We've got Kimmer Ringwald, who wrote for Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. And the all-new Popeye Hour. That was
What
kind of
the hell is that?
the stuff they got their start on. Well, you don't know Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics?
Oh, it's spelled Laff.
Of course it is. How are you spelling it?
I spelled it as 2 separate words, laugh and Olympics.
Kimmer Ringwald also wrote a lot for Baywatch.
I didn't really think that needed writing.
Yeah, well, you've got to have some reason that they're running down the beach.
I guess that's true.
Someone has to write that. Also, one of the other 2 writers was Michael Koenig, who I couldn't really find out about. There's a lot of Michael Koenigs out there, and I could not find any clarification as to which one this was, if any.
If any.
There's one who's a comedian and poker star, but I don't know if this was him. And the 3rd writer was Sean Roche, who I don't think we've spoken about before, but wrote a lot for the Mario Super Show and Captain N, and also went on to co-write the next Carmen Sandiego video game that was made after this.
Cool.
His most recent thing was a show called Superbook, in which a group of kids and a robot learn lessons from the Bible with the help of a time-traveling book.
Oh no, that sounds bad.
It sounds bad. But we're here in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
That's where our show opens, because Carmen Sandiego is creeping around in the Van Gogh Museum.
I love that she comes across the self-portrait of Van Gogh, and you'd think she'd lift the entire thing and go, but she just kind of shaves his eyes off and leaves with them.
Yeah, right? And the whole time, I spent the rest of this episode being like, doesn't that mean the painting is just, like, ruined irreparably?
And if it wasn't before, it is by the end, when that girl just rolls it up like a parchment. But we're not there yet. We've just shaved off Van Gogh's eyes.
Yeah, no, he's fine. So I know Americans always pronounce it Van Gogh. Over here we were taught that it was Van Gogh.
That's probably more correct.
I think the truth is somewhere in between those, actually.
Yeah.
But it's something like Van Gogh or something. I don't know. Something like that.
Probably.
But, I'm not even going to pretend that I'm even halfway to getting it right. So sorry, everybody out there.
Right, I'm not even going to pretend that the American way is the correct way.
Yeah.
We tend to forget about other places in the world and pronunciations.
I like his work. Think of the 3 artists featured in this episode. He is my favorite.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never been to his museum. Not even when there was Pokemon stuff happening there.
Why was there Pokemon at the Van Gogh Museum?
I don't know. There was some kind of Pokemon event there, and I actually have the Van Gogh Pikachu. They made a plushie, and somehow my sister got her hands on one and sent it to me.
Hold on. Pikachu Van Gogh. That's not how you spell the word plushie. Show me the picture. That could be anyone.
But he's holding a Van Gogh painting.
That's how you Van know.
But they got in trouble with that exhibit because they didn't order anywhere near enough merchandise and it all sold out before the end of the first day of the exhibit.
I just need you to see what I see right now.
Okay. I'm assuming you're referring to the long Pikachu Pokemon Kawaii plush pillow doll.
I'm referring to, there's a lineup of the same Pikachu Van Gogh plush, but in between all of them is a Pikachu centipede. And I don't think that that's the same thing.
No, even the girl holding it in the picture looks a bit confused.
This is not how I remember my friend.
So, Carmen steals the eyes from Vincent's self-portrait and she escapes the guards. They're all speaking Dutch. I don't know if it's accurate. I'll play some here, and any Dutch speakers out there listening, let us know.
Scormac?
Is this real Dutch?
Iemand heeft ingebroken in het museum. Kijk eens hier, nu hoog, let op die schaduwen. Gaat tot hier, ze gaat er wat door.
Carmen Sandiego is played by Rita Moreno, who got famous playing Anita in West Side Story. She won an Oscar for that.
Wow.
She also played Sister Raimundo in Oz, Dory Newman in Happily Divorced, Abuelita in Nina's World. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah. Grandma?
Yeah. Lydia in One Day at a Time. And my personal favorite, Queen Bussy Boots in Princess Power.
All right.
That is an educational children's show. And I did say Bussy Boots.
Oh, not Bussy Boots.
I mean, it's spelled like Bussy Boots.
It is. The key is in the pronunciation, you freak.
This show came out in 2023, so there's no excuse.
I mean...
So Carmen flies away in a futuristic spaceship that she has for some reason.
Because she's a top world spy stealing lady.
To be fair, the last game that released before this show was called Where in Space is Carmen Sandiego, so...
Right, like she's been through time, she's been through space, of course she's got it.
Yeah, I guess so. The police helicopters corner her ship and force it to land. It turns out there's a scarecrow in there.
Oh no!
She's still at the museum. I went back and watched it again, and I don't know how she pulled this off.
No. She also just completely sacrificed an entire aircraft to get away. This woman is loaded.
Yeah. Well, that's why she's a master thief.
She has to keep stealing to fund all of her escapes.
Like, presumably, for every... Like, we only see the times that the detectives win. And for every time that we see them win, there's probably like 50 times that they lost and she won.
Right.
When she's back at the museum and she pets one of the guard dogs, so... Like, was it an inside job?
The dogs were in on it.
The dogs were in on it the whole time. And this is where the show makes a choice.
Yeah.
Because now we see a child at a computer.
Yeah.
And
it made a lot of choices here.
She's taunting the player through the computer screen and he's taunting her back.
I got away again, player.
I can catch you, Carmen.
Go ahead. Try.
Why is she in contact with this child?
Why is she flirting with a child?
Yeah, this is a really good commercial for the dangers of your child being unsupervised on the internet. Your child is going to flirt with Carmen Sandiego.
It was a weird choice that they tried to involve us as the player in this cartoon. Because there's no input from a player character.
Yeah, it was a really, like, clearly they're trying to integrate the game into the show, but it doesn't work. Because it's a TV show. Like, they did it better in the game shows, because they were game shows. They actually had kids in there playing them, but this actually kind of makes the game look boring, I think, because the player doesn't really do much.
Yeah,
like
you're kind of just told by the characters what to Google.
Yeah, this basically implies that, like, if the game is the way this show runs, then the game would just be the characters figure everything out and just turn to you every now and then and say, now send us to this place.
You're given an extremely cryptic clue that you can't figure out by yourself until the characters do it for you, and then you just send them there.
And then you send them to the place they want to go. The place that they tell you to send them.
Right.
This player is played by Justin Shenkaro, known best by us as the voice of Harold in Hey Arnold.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's Harold. He also played Gelman in Recess. I don't think you watched Recess that much, did you?
I watched it a little, but the name doesn't ring a bell.
Gelman was he was like a bully kid. He was like similar in build to Mikey.
Why was he typecast as a cartoon bully?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just had that kind of voice. I wouldn't have guessed that those two had the same actor, but then once I read it, I was like, oh yeah, they sound exactly the same. Apparently, he's now playing Rhino in Spidey and His Amazing Friends. So that's nice.
Wow.
I like it when a child actor continue. You know, that makes it sound like I don't like it when they don't continue. You know, I think a lot of child actors probably don't really want to be actors, and if that's the case, they should get out of it. But when you see a child actor is still acting as an adult, that to me is a pretty good sign that they wanted to do it. So it's like, good for them. Yeah, I took a good look at the stuff in this room, and it's mostly like very generic kid stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's got a bunch of trophies. He's got a keyboard in the corner. He's got one of those light up globe lamps, which I had when I was a kid.
What a cool dude.
I want one of those again now.
You're an adult. Just buy one.
I know, I should. I mean, I finally got those balls.
Oh, right, the electric ball.
Yeah, with like the electric things and you touch them and they all converge on your finger. I finally got one of those for myself. So I never leave it plugged in, but... Anyway, I was looking at the books that he had sitting next to his computer, and...
Right.
You can clearly read the title of one of them, and it says Deering's California Codes.
Yeah.
So I thought, what is that? And I looked it up, and it's like a really stuffy, boring law book that seems way beyond something even a smart kid should own.
I think this kid is gonna grow up to be a lawyer, specifically to catch and prosecute Carmen Sandiego.
That's the only explanation. Or my theory is that when they were dressing the set, they were looking around for books and they didn't have any, and they were like, I'd go ask in the legal department if they've got any books we can borrow. It's okay, nobody's going to be able to read the title on our CRT TVs. But we're not on CRT
fun
anymore.
No, now we've got grainy secondhand videos.
So the player pulls up a menu and accesses the Acme Detective Agency. And the chief, this is where we meet the chief. It's not the chief that we already knew.
No, it's a dumb chief that I hate.
Yeah, did you recognize his voice though?
I couldn't place it.
Oh, really? I'm surprised. I thought for sure you would recognize it because he's doing almost the exact same voice that he uses for Squidward.
Squidward?
Yeah, this is Roger Bumpass, the voice of Squidward Tentacles in SpongeBob.
I don't know.
And there were a lot of times throughout the episode, like it's not exactly the same voice, but there's a lot of times if you're listening for it, you can hear him slip into the Squidward voice.
Okay, let's bust a move, player.
Pick a detective.
And this time, make it good.
Anytime this guy started talking, I kind of tuned out.
Yeah, he's also Professor
like
Membrane from Invader Zim, and I did not realize that those two were played by the same person.
Neither did I.
I miss the old chief. I don't like this guy. He's annoying.
Yeah.
It seems like they're kind of going for a Max Headroom type thing, but it's like a homogenized Max Headroom with none of the art or subversion that Max Headroom had.
Yeah. He's just like a weird, sassy know-it-all.
Yeah. So the player chooses a detective, and he chooses Ivy, and she materializes. Have a lot of questions about this.
Who is she? How do we know her? What's her deal?
Does Ivy still exist if the player doesn't choose her? Like, was she just elsewhere living her life and got teleported here without warning when the player chose her?
Could you type in literally any name?
Yeah. No, I just, like, there's a lot of implication that she does have a life outside of this. Like, she has a brother and stuff like that.
Right. So she is real.
But maybe she's just programmed to have a brother.
True.
Maybe she just popped into existence right then and all of her backstory was just programmed in. I don't know.
Yeah, they seem to have some kind of job and aspirations, but also that kid is like 13. Why would he be working for a global detective agency, whatever they are?
I'm pretty sure he's 14, actually.
Whatever. He's still a punk on a skateboard.
And she's 18, I believe. Did you recognize her voice?
I did. I couldn't place any of these people, but they all sounded familiar.
So this is Jennifer Hale.
Femshep?
Yeah, it's Femshep. That's what we know her best as, the female voice of Commander Shepard. She also played Samus in, I think, all of the Metroid Prime games. Not that Samus really talks in those, but
right.
The grunts that Samus does were all Jennifer Hale. I also know her for playing Naomi Hunter in the Metal Gear series, which was probably the first time I heard her voice.
Wasn't she someone in X-Men or something?
She has been a lot of people in X-Men over the years. She's played various... Not just X-Men, but like she's played loads of different Marvel and DC characters in different things. She's also the current voice of Disney's Cinderella, and she took over as the voice of Bayonetta in the third Bayonetta game.
I forgot about that.
I still haven't played the third one, so I haven't heard her as Bayonetta yet.
I still haven't finished the first one.
No, and you should, because you'd like it.
I did like it, but like, I have a problem with games like that.
They are tough.
Where... No, not just because they're tough, but because I'm like, I could do better than that. And so I'll restart it over and over and over, trying to do... And like, I'll get tired of it eventually because the perfectionism drains the fun out of it before I finish the story.
So a problem I have with like every... Oh shoot, what's his name? The guy who makes those games. I'm blanking on his name right now. The guy who's famous for blocking people.
Hideki... Kamiya? Yeah, Kamiya.
Hideki Kamiya, that's the guy. The problem I have with all of his games is that every series of his that I've played, the first game is like a little bit too tough. Like I always get to the end and there's a part where it gets so difficult that I start getting frustrated.
Right.
So I had the same problem with A Beautiful Joe. But then the second game comes out and I just like breeze through it easily. That happened with Beautiful Joe and Bayonetta. I'm like, okay, what is it about this guy's games that he makes a really tough first one and then a really easy sequel?
And then people whine that it was too hard, so they make it a little easier. And then the hardcore capital G gamers whine that it's too easy.
Why were we talking about this?
Jennifer Hale.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I like Bayonetta. I liked the first one and the second one. And I have the third one, but I haven't played it yet. So the player also gives her a partner, despite her objections.
Yeah, Max Headroom insists that she have a partner.
Well, no, it seems like the player made that choice, and then he was just making excuses.
The player made the choice, but like, I don't know. Seemed like he was really trying to force her to hang out with her little brother.
I think he was just being like, listen, this is what's happening, and you're going to have to deal with it, because the player has chosen that.
Listen, this kid is 12 years old. He needs all the help he can get.
Yeah, so her brother, Zach, is going to be her partner. Zach is played by Scott Menville, who I know as the voice of Lloyd in Tales of Symphonia, the main character.
Oh.
He also played Robin in Teen Titans.
Oh, I know that one.
And he played Marty in Captain Planet, the kid with the power of heart.
What a loser.
The whole, like, inside the computer scene, I don't think came out quite how the writers envisioned it.
Right.
Because there's the part when he's, like, when the chief is insisting on her having a partner being a good idea, there's a part where he shouts duck, and then she ducks to dodge a plane that flies by, because he was talking about the Wright brothers.
Even though it's nowhere near her.
It's not only is it nowhere near her, it's on a screen that she's looking at.
Right.
It doesn't exist in the physical space that she does, but she still ducks to avoid it.
This whole thing is confusing because she keeps turning to the player, the little boy behind the screen and being like, I don't need my brother. And then there's this computer man talking at us. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. And then this whole, like, C5 corridor thing, we're never really given I mean, contextually, we figure out pretty quickly that it's some kind of teleportation.
Right.
But, like, what does C5 stand for? Why is it a C5 corridor? What is that?
Corridor 5, corridor.
All we're really told about it is that it is not pleasant, safe, or particularly functional. Because they don't want to go in the C5 corridor. They make it very clear that they have no idea where they're going to land at the other end.
What if it's a wormhole and it just passes through just like the worst dimensions and you see things beyond your comprehension?
Well, we do see
and then
the
it
inside
spits
of
you
it.
in the Netherlands.
The inside of it.
It's full of math.
It looks like a really boring motion simulator ride from the 90s.
With math in it.
It looks like you're going on Star Tours, but you're not going to have any fun. It's an Epcot ride, that's what it is. And these are the segments where we're educated
right
about wherever it is that we're going. So as the camera travels through the C5 corridor, C5 sounds like an explosive, doesn't it?
It does. It's one stronger than C4.
Yeah. I don't want to go in the C5 corridor.
No, don't put me in the explosion hole.
Sounds like a place from Metal Gear Solid.
How else would we learn about the Netherlands?
Yeah, we get told all these facts about the Netherlands, and it's super
surface level.
Yeah, and they really drill home the fact that some people call it Holland.
Right.
They really want us to remember that, and we'll find out why soon.
They really want us to know about those damn tulips.
Yeah, they like get dumped into a boat full of tulips.
Right. I didn't realize it was such a strong part of their economy.
Like, I know that they have tulips and windmills and clogs, but it seems like that those are also the only things that the writers knew about the Netherlands.
That's all you need to know.
I'm almost surprised we didn't get any, like, marijuana in this episode. It's legal here. Anyway, so yeah, they're dumped into the Netherlands, into a boat full of tulips, and as Ivy is helping her brother out of the tulips, they get spotted by one of Carmen's henchmen, and he calls Carmen using a camera phone, but not the kind of camera phone that you might be thinking of.
It's the other kind of camera phone.
Yeah, it's not a phone with a camera in it. It's a camera with a phone in it.
The viewfinder is actually just Carmen Sandiego.
They're light years ahead in technology. Like the Vile group, whatever they're called. They've got spaceships, they've got camera phones, they've got, like, desert scooter hovercraft things later on.
They've got a laser etch that can remove eyes from a painting.
Yeah, apparently without damaging the painting.
Minus the eyes part.
This henchman of Carmen is named Touriste Classe. I don't know who played him. I couldn't find out. There's a lot of The only actors who are credited for their characters on this show are the main ones with names, and
right.
Everybody else is just additional voices. So I'm not sure which of the many additional voices. played this
Touriste Classe is not a name.
guy. Yeah, it's rude. It's rude that they
It
didn't
is rude.
put his name in the credit.
We need to know who this goofy Frenchman is.
So Carmen tells Touriste to get out of the country since his job is already done. So he speeds off on his scooter right past them for some reason.
Right. You could go in any direction.
He decides to go by them. And they spot him and they recognize him, so they give chase. They just rent some scooters.
I love that there's just that convenient man right there.
Yeah.
Who just takes money, no interaction, just takes the money and they take his scooters.
Yeah, no, like, they don't have to hand over ID or anything. Don't have to show driver's licenses.
We don't even know if that's what he was selling, because he looked like he was selling books or newspapers or something.
It's an information booth. It's got the universal symbol for information
Oh.
on the top of it, I noticed.
Do they rent scooters?
I don't know. Apparently, or they just threw some money at this guy and stole a couple of scooters. I mean, he does
That
look
could be
confused. He does look confused and surprised by what's happening. So maybe they really did just steal a couple scooters.
Yeah.
And they make sure to put their helmets on. Gotta make sure all the
Yeah.
kids know you gotta wear a helmet.
Come on, slap on a brain bucket and let's go stamp his passport.
Put your brain buckets on, kids.
Yeah, they call it a brain bucket. That felt uncomfortable to me.
It's super 90s.
He jumps a bridge as it's being raised up for a boat to go past, I guess.
And it transforms!
Yeah, his scooter transforms into like a plane, but not even a modern looking one. It looks
It's like a glider plane, but he can pedal it to propel it.
It's like some kind of Wright Brothers thing it turns into. And he just flies away. And here's where our first question arises. And it's what's another name for the Netherlands. So that's why they made sure we heard that. And he said it several times.
Several times.
It's Holland, children, in case you couldn't figure it out.
What? I got that one wrong.
I missed the old show where it actually asked questions that it hadn't already given us the answer to.
Right.
That was more interesting. Because this isn't a test of what you know. It's just a test of what you can remember of the last 5 minutes. So the detectives fall in the river. And then this is where the chief calls to let them know that Touriste is in town.
But they already know that because they watched him pedal off into the sky.
I love that it was an electric scooter until it turned into a plane and then he had to pedal it.
So good.
This is pretty much how the chief operates. He keeps calling to tell them something they've already seen or figured out.
Yeah. He's not very good at his job.
No, not like the old chief. She was great.
I love her.
Yeah. So this is where I have another question, because Zach just turns to the camera and is like, hey, player, can you teleport us to the museum? And then the player does it. So if the player had the power to teleport them directly into the museum, why did they end up falling in a boat full of tulips earlier?
Well, they mentioned that the C5 corridor doesn't always put you exactly where you want. Just kind of spits you out. You get a little knocked off course. You get shot into some tulips sometimes.
So what did they use to get to the museum? A C6 corridor?
Well, to be fair, we don't see where they land. We just see them in the museum. They could have landed in a porta potty for all we know.
That's true, but I guess I kind of assumed. I mean, if it's no more accurate than before, then do you think they just teleported like 50 times until they happened to end up at the right place?
If you're close enough, just walk there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, weren't they already as close as they could get from the first teleport?
I don't understand how the teleports work, Mike.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like a mass relay and there's a fixed location, or if it just opens up when you click. If you press L, you create a rift and you go back to the prison town.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I want to know. That's my question. It doesn't make any sense to me.
The lore of Carmen Sandiego is too confusing. It does not add up.
Listen, if they're going to introduce a C5 corridor and then tell me it's not very accurate, but then accurately teleport to the museum after using the C5 corridor.
That it accurately teleported them.
It's implied.
And also, I think they say that it doesn't always mess up like that, but it can.
Oh, okay. All right. Fine. Whatever. Now they're in the museum and they're talking to a curator who's confused about how they got in there. Because the museum's closed.
Yeah, who's stopping them? Just walk on in.
Well...
That's why
That's why
they're
they call
called
them
sneakers.
So this is where we get a talk about the painting that Carmen defaced and Van Gogh in general, and it's very dry.
Yeah, there's too much learning happening.
Yeah, so the curator just kind of leaves them to it. And then this funny little talking Carmen Sandiego doll. It's like a wind-up wooden doll that wanders up.
It's so stupid and goofy. But I mean, if I was a super rich spy, I keep wanting to call her a spy, but she's a thief. I mean, I guess I'd probably do the same. Have my little jigsaw doll ride out on a bicycle.
And it says,
I have the biggest nose, but I might be lying.
and then it explodes.
Is that clue cryptic enough for you?
I don't know. I didn't get it from that.
I didn't get it either. That's what I'm saying. And like they go on this whole brain journey going through famous noses in history to finally arrive at the answer.
Yeah, we have to hear about Mount Rushmore and Pinocchio and then the Sphinx, and they go to the Sphinx. And the Sphinx is not the right answer, by the way, but they go to Egypt anyway, so that we can get another C5 scene about Egypt.
Yeah, this part was crazy. Like, they get answers wrong, and then we just have to watch them dawdle around doing nothing, not advancing the plot.
Yeah, also, when they talk about how the Sphinx lost its nose, they talk about an army using it for target practice. They do say it's a rumor, or it's a legend, or whatever. But they present it like it's probably true.
Right.
It's not true.
No.
That was an old story. It was said that Napoleon fired at the nose and broke it off. But there's depictions of the Sphinx with no nose from before Napoleon was born. I looked into this. Apparently, an Egyptian historian wrote in the 15th century that a Muslim broke the nose off of the Sphinx in protest of the way people were worshipping it. Because it was like, he saw it as like a religious affront that they were worshipping this Sphinx for the harvest or whatever.
That's idolatry.
Yeah, and then he, in turn, was executed for vandalism.
Wow.
So, but again, like, that's from the 15th century, so who knows if that's true.
It's a better story than Napoleon.
It is. Yeah. So, at the Sphinx, they find that there's an ambush waiting for them. And Zach falls off the Sphinx and falls like 500 feet and survives somehow.
What? So, of all of the possible noses in the world, did Carmen just have people stationed at every possible option that these kids could have gone to?
Yeah, I wonder. Like, it's a trap, clearly. She's set a trap. It seems like she set them up to think that she was doing something with the Sphinx.
Right.
But it was actually just like a complete lie. So, you know.
But, like, they could be at Mount Rushmore right now. Is there someone waiting there?
Maybe. But they say Mount Rushmore can't be the right one because none of them are known for lying. And then that's what leads them to talk about Pinocchio.
Well, she said she might be lying.
That's true. Yeah, and they go to the Sphinx because Zach is like, what if it meant lion the animal? I guess there's a lot of places they could have ended up. You're right. Maybe there really was an ambush waiting at all of them. Maybe there's an ambush waiting at the library in front of a copy of Pinocchio.
Right. The first edition of Pinocchio is guarded by her people.
So Ivy has a little fight with the henchman, and this is like Power Rangers level violence.
Right. A man, like, falls off the Sphinx. They all fall off the Sphinx.
Yeah, that one guy loses his pants. So as Ivy's falling off the Sphinx, Zach catches her on this future flying bike. Looks like it's from, like, oh shoot, I'm blanking on the name of the movie. The Ghibli movie, you know, with the Ohm.
Star Wars.
No. Why? I can't think of the name of the movie. I love that movie. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Everybody just leaves that pantsless man to dangle off the Sphinx.
Yeah, did he not fall afterwards?
No, we see 2 other people rappel down the ropes and get onto their dune speeders, but we don't see the guy with his heart boxers ever get down.
Nausicaa. That's the movie I'm thinking of. I got there eventually.
It's definitely still as impactful now, 10 minutes later.
Thanks.
Just say they're pod racing.
They don't look like pod racers, though.
Remember Star Wars Pod Racer for the N64?
No.
Fine.
Did you have it?
We did have it.
I did play it. My cousin had it, so I played it once or twice. I don't think I was any good at it.
I don't think I was either. I think I got pretty far, but mostly just on tenacity rather than skill.
That's how you play games when you're a kid.
That's how I play games now.
Where were we? What was happening?
They're speeding off through the desert.
That's
and
right.
They procured some kind of sack full of clues.
Yeah, and Zach had sabotaged all the other bikes so that they explode. And I'm pretty sure those guys died. Like,
nobody dies in Power Rangers.
Yeah, don't tell me this is less violent than Power Rangers. That guy sailed off into the sky and his thing exploded. And we didn't see him parachute out.
No, we didn't. That pantsless man fell to his death.
Probably.
Don't tell me he didn't.
All his friends died, so who's going to help him? And even if somebody did help him, now he's pantsless in the desert, in the scorching sun. He's going to get really bad sunburn on his legs, and that's violent.
He sure is. That is violent.
I'm going to write to my local...
Congressman?
I'm going to write to my local library and demand that they remove Carmen Sandiego from the VHS rentals. So yeah, they've got this bag of treats, and Ivy finds some Spanish pesetas in it.
Some Spanish bazingas.
Which is the currency they used in Spain before they switched to the euro.
And on every single bill is written, "Let's go, Cave!"
Let's go, Cave! Yeah. Sounds like Cave is a sports team or something.
Cave makes really good shoot-'em-up games.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
Cave is responsible for Mushihime-sama.
Yeah, I learned that recently when we played it.
So yeah, let's go, Cave. Give me more of that.
The chief calls them again to tell them that Carmen has just robbed a museum in Spain. She stole a nose from a Picasso painting.
Stole the nose right off his face.
It's the portrait of Sabates from 1939. So now Carmen has Van Gogh eyes and a Picasso nose.
I was so excited to see what this final picture would look like. Seeing the second picture, because I don't know that I've ever seen that before. And like sticking that on some Van Gogh eyes with a Mona Lisa smile. Those cowards wouldn't show us.
I know.
They refused to depict true beauty.
They don't show it. I was disappointed too. But yeah,
we
they
recreate it.
Zach figures out that the Mona Lisa is next. I did find a fan site where someone had recreated what they thought it would probably have looked like. By the way,
I have to see.
Let's see if I can find it again. Oh, it's not coming up. It'll be on my history on my laptop, so I'll find it later and I'll send it to you.
I need to see it.
We'll see it. So Zach figures out that the Mona Lisa is next because that's the most famous smile. But he doesn't know where the Mona Lisa is.
What an idiot.
I know where the Mona Lisa is because I've been there.
I know too, because I know something sometimes.
So tourist class A is already in the Louvre, removing the glass from in front of the Mona Lisa.
Is this what you were looking for?
No, that's not the one I saw, but I do like that.
Dang. It's so stupid. Why would she make that? Carmen!
Carmen! Don't! Nobody wants that.
Why is she doing this?
She's crazy.
I think she's just lost her mind from traveling through time and space and seeing things human beings cannot and should not comprehend.
And stealing things that human beings cannot and should not comprehend. Like, doesn't she steal just, like, vague concepts sometimes?
Probably. That sounds like something she would do.
They're like, Carmen Sandiego has stolen all of the lust from a Frenchman.
Carmen Sandiego has stolen all the world's springs.
They'll just show up and they'll be like, she stole the Statue of Liberty! The Statue of Liberty!
Where is she hiding it?
Carmen Sandiego has stolen exactly half of the planet Earth.
If you're from the missing half, please let us know where you are.
Carmen Sandiego has stolen all of the water from the Pacific Ocean. We could really get some studying done. We've never even seen some of this stuff. So the player teleports them to Paris. We get another C5 scene about Paris. With a squished Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
They wanted it to fit the 4x3 frame, so they just squished it to fit. It looks stupid.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They could have put like a border at the sides or something.
No. Squish her down.
I went to the Louvre. You don't really get a good look at the Mona Lisa because there's such thick glass in front of it. You can't get close.
Right.
It's a shame. What did you think about the museum chase scene?
Not much.
It's really boring, right?
It sure is. It's short-lived and it's boring.
They pretend to be statues like this is Scooby-Doo, but it's not Scooby-Doo. So the guys just go, oh, there they are.
You know, that part isn't even the worst part. But the worst part about it is that Ivy harps on it. Like, of course that wouldn't work, stupid. Like, we're all gonna be in on this joke.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's stupid, but it's a cartoon. Now that you've drawn attention to it, it's double stupid.
Carmen is here.
Is she? Yeah.
It's so... Well, in the other show at least, I felt like you never actually saw Carmen. You were always just behind her, you know?
She's the triplets' mother. She's Captain Falcon. She's always there in whispers, but never in person.
I had to take a second to understand what you meant by... But I got there, yeah. I know what you meant. You meant the hedgehog triplets.
Yeah. From Sonic Underground. They made a vow. Their mother would be found.
And she never was.
She never was.
Just like Carmen Sandiego. Do you think Queen Elena and Carmen Sandiego get together to trade secrets?
I think they're the same person.
Same studio. Could be. This show was just practice for Sonic Underground.
Yeah. How did you feel about Zach trying to use a crown as a lockpick?
Okay, I had a few thoughts about that because that looked like the crown, like the British royal family crown.
Right.
And also, like, why would there be a crown at the Louvre? It's an art museum. Why was there a crown?
It's a work of art. Also, why are these kids trapped in a warehouse with a bunch of priceless pieces of history?
Well, that's the stuff that Carmen thought wasn't good enough to take.
Yeah, but...
Just like, oh, these are small potatoes. The crown jewels, whatever.
I don't know. It's clearly irresponsible since they're using them to try to batter a door open.
Yeah. She really didn't... I guess she just figured they were whatever. Because she really didn't take many measures to keep them trapped.
Right.
She was just like, just throw them in that room and lock the door and we're going to leave. Wait, why didn't they just ask the player to teleport them out?
Because it doesn't work in locked rooms.
The C5 corridor only works if there's a space out of the room that's at least wide enough for a person to fit through. That's why it's so dangerous, because it actually just fires you through the air.
I would think it's so dangerous, because what if it teleports you into a wall?
Yeah.
And then you're just dead. You've been cleft in twain.
Maybe that's happened.
Maybe.
Maybe that's why all the detectives are so young, because you don't live very long.
Oh, we got another telefrag.
Oops. Oh well. Hope there's somebody at least 18 years old who's able to take up the...
14? That's old enough.
Close
Get
enough.
him in here.
Close enough, whatever.
He can hold a gun.
They get out and the chief appears to tell them that Carmen has stolen the world's airwaves.
That's small potatoes.
She's broadcasting her own TV show now. And I love that, like, they kind of like lampshade the fact that it doesn't really make any sense because he's just like, don't ask me how she did it. And it's
She's Carmen Sandiego. That's all you need to know.
He says that as an aside.
Hot tip! Carmen's now stolen the television airwaves for the entire world. Don't ask me how she did it. She's broadcasting her own TV show.
Do not ask. I will not
Like,
be
I can
answering.
understand her taking over a local Channel 3 or something, but the entire world?
But then he seems to be able to do the same thing because he appears on TVs on a nearby store window to be like, hey, come over here
He's
and
got
look.
some kind of weird digital head powers, but
He's Max Headroom. That's all he is.
yeah, because when he appeared this last time, it was over a drawing that somebody was doing on the ground of the Eiffel Tower. He just appeared as a screen there.
Yeah, with that one, I assume maybe he's like being projected out of their watches or something on a hologram screen.
I guess.
I'm being generous though.
Very rude to that Frenchman.
It is. Carmen is broadcasting from a cave with cave paintings, and they ask where that is, and the chief is just like, I don't know, they're everywhere. Could be
There's
any
a lot of caves. Come on, narrow it down.
But they figure it's probably somewhere close because they just saw her. So then they realize that Let's Go Cave actually was referring to Lascaux Cave,
What?
where there's cave paintings.
So they combined two separate clues that led to both Spain and something that hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I assume it was like, that was a note for her minions saying where to meet her.
I guess.
I saw this and I was like, oh, Lascaux Cave. I want to go and see that. But then I looked it up and it's apparently been closed since the 60s.
Oh.
Yeah, because when they found it, loads of people started going there and it started damaging the artwork on the walls, so they closed it. So that's a shame.
It is a shame.
So anyway, they're in the cave. Carmen's going to unveil her work of art made from the eyes of Van Gogh, the nose of Picasso, and the smile of the Mona Lisa.
I wanted to see it so bad.
No, I'm so mad we didn't get to see it.
Cowards.
So the detectives freak out some bats, and then that starts a fire in the cave, which I guess wasn't their plan, but
No.
this would irreparably damage the priceless cave paintings with the smoke. The smoke
They
alone.
don't care. They just need to get back the already damaged paintings.
Yeah, what's one more?
Gotta glue that nose back on.
Carmen and her minions get away. But what they don't realize is that Ivy has replaced the painting at some point.
There's no period of time where that could have happened.
Nope.
Where she could have drawn the new picture, gone and replaced the canvases
Yeah.
among the fire and bats.
Yeah. No, logistically it makes no sense. But we're at the point of the episode now where you can tell they were like, shit, we've run out of time. Just wrap it up. Just wrap it up.
They have to get the stuff back, but she gets away.
The end. That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, because the whole scene happens really quickly. I thought for sure, like, I knew deep down she was gonna get the picture, but there was a part of me that was like, that was too fast. They got away with the picture. They started an accidental fire and ruined their own dumb plan, and I would love it.
Yeah. And then the chief is like, damn it, why did I hire children? Like, sure, that one's 18, but you're not really an adult at 18. The law just says you are.
What does the law know?
That's only for the purposes of sending you to prison.
Right.
Yeah, it turns out that Carmen's masterpiece has been replaced with a marker doodle of Zack and Ivy that Ivy drew at some point. And Carmen isn't even mad. Carmen's just like, oh well.
Touche.
That's fine.
Not one of my better plans anyway.
You know, once we got into the cave and the camera was on me, I started thinking, this picture kind of looks like shit, though.
And she's still determined to unveil her masterpiece, though.
Well, yeah, she can't back down at that point. She's in too deep.
That's
it's
true.
A sunk cost
she
fallacy.
has stolen the world's airwaves. You can't walk away after that.
That's why she was dragging her heels on unveiling it, because it has to have taken them a while to get to that cave to catch up with her, and she still hasn't unveiled it yet.
Right.
She's like, this is going to be such an anticlimax. I in my head it came out different. In my head it was better.
This actually looks kind of shit.
Touriste, why didn't you stop me? The player and Carmen taunt each other a little bit more.
They flirt. It's weird.
You're right. It's absolutely flirting.
I stole some of the finest art in the world.
But I got it back.
Next time, you may not be so lucky.
Next time, I may just catch you.
Until then, player.
And then the show ends.
With an even worse song.
Wasn't it just like the same song but without the singing?
It's the same song but worse.
Yeah, not a good song. Not a great show. I didn't like it that much.
It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't good.
That's the problem with it. That's exactly what, because when the show's really bad, we have a good time laughing at it.
Right.
And when the show's really good, we just have a good time watching it. But this was like, it just wasn't interesting, really, in any way.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because I love Carmen Sandiego. I think Carmen Sandiego is such a cool concept and such a cool character.
I think maybe they tried too hard to integrate the game into it.
Yeah, I don't think...
That's why you have, like, the misses and the player.
I don't think that the player needed to be part of this at all.
No, not at all.
I would have preferred if Ivy and Zack themselves were the player stand-ins instead of having a separate player character.
Yeah.
Watching them work.
It's just adding a middleman.
Yeah, either you need to... If the player is going to be there, the player needs to either be... The two detectives need to be the players, or the chief should be the player. Because the player doesn't feel necessary because all of these roles are filled.
Right.
Like, the player isn't solving the mystery, the detectives are doing that. The player isn't feeding the detectives information, the chief is doing that. So the player is just there.
Yeah.
And it just feels...
Just some kid sitting in his room.
Yeah.
Flirting with Carmen Sandiego.
That's all he does. Flirting with Carmen Sandiego and opening doors for the detectives. That's his whole deal.
Yeah.
The educational stuff here also feels less organic than it did in the game shows.
Yeah.
Like, there's parts where characters just announce facts out of nowhere, and it just feels weird.
Where did you learn to drive?
Relax. The Sahara's the biggest desert in the world. With almost 3.5 million square miles of sand, the only thing I'm gonna hit is warp speed.
I think if they weren't trying to make it much more like the game where you go to several different locations before you catch her, it could have been better. If they spent the whole time just focusing on learning things about the Netherlands, maybe it would have been better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, it just feels like a hodgepodge of information.
If she had just stolen the Van Gogh painting, or if she had just stolen the Mona Lisa, then yeah, they could have had a more focused episode. And then the learning could have happened more organically. And because, yeah, that's what it is. It's that I think the learning parts only feel good when they're related to the case.
Right.
But there are so many parts where the chief will just start telling us about something completely unrelated. Like the Mount Rushmore. They start giving us facts about Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln was one of our tallest presidents. But this stone carving of him is 60 feet high. That's 9 times higher than your average 6'8" basketball player.
He was 6'8".
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. How does Abraham Lincoln being 6'8" help us get back Van Gogh's eyes?
It doesn't.
Like, then they had to tell us about the guy who wrote Pinocchio, and none of it came to anything. Just tell me the stuff that's relevant, you know?
Right. It's like, these facts are well and good, but it doesn't feel good to just be bombarded with them in this show.
Yeah.
Where I'm trying to find a thief.
And when they're all so out of context like that, I feel like you don't absorb any of them anyway.
Right.
I feel like it's easier to absorb facts when they're in a context.
Exactly. If it was more focused.
Yeah. I didn't like this show when I was a kid. I still don't like it. Like I said, I remember this show being on. When I put this on and the theme song started, I was like, oh yeah, I do remember changing the channel when this show came on.
Ouch. A scathing indictment.
You know what it was? At the very beginning, I think there's a shot of China and there's a woman dancing and she looks so stupid. And I was like, I thought this woman looked stupid before.
Hey, I remember that stupid woman.
Yeah. Well, you got any questions for me?
Questions regarding a legacy, perhaps?
There might be a legacy.
How is there a legacy?
So, the next game that was released after this show started, Carmen Sandiego Jr. Detective, uses the characters, voice actors, and one of the writers from this show.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't use Carmen's design from this show, though.
Her extremely broad-shouldered design.
She is extremely broad-shouldered in this show, isn't she?
She sure is.
Yeah.
Like, she has, like, a Batman silhouette. It's nuts.
I guess they wanted to make her a more imposing figure.
Right. We can't have our crew get bested by just a regular woman.
I really like the design in the new show.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of the Netflix show, but...
I haven't watched the show, but I've seen, like, the designs and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's not only nice, but makes a lot more sense for her to have a darker skin tone.
Right.
Because she's very light, she's very fair-skinned in this show, and it doesn't feel right to me. Her name is Carmen Sandiego. She should be a woman of color, in my opinion. I mean, I guess she probably still is a woman of color. She just has very light skin. But yeah, anyway, Carmen Sandiego Jr. Detective was not an actual adaptation of this show. It just borrowed a bunch of elements from it.
Okay.
But it's also very clearly its own thing. It's got extra characters who weren't in the show. Like a cat and a dog.
Did they talk?
I don't know. Let's find out together, shall we? Yeah, this is the right one.
But where's the cat and dog?
They'll show up.
Okay, I definitely hear the Squidward now that you mention it. Oh my god. I'm bored just skipping through it.
Oh, the cat and the dog show up pretty quick at the beginning. They do not
Did
talk.
they talk? Okay.
No, they're actually like way more of a normal cat and dog than I was expecting to. He's called Stretch the Crime Dog. Alright, apparently he can use his ears as a helicopter.
That's pretty normal.
Oh, his ears and his tail.
What does the cat do?
The cat is Carmen's cat. You can't call that dog Stretch the Crime Dog. It just looks like anyone's pet dog. What's a crime
Mike,
dog about?
You can name a dog literally anything.
Okay.
I could get a dog tomorrow and name it Stretch the Crime Dog.
Well, okay. If I'm ever in charge of naming a dog, I'm going to call it, maybe not Stretch, but I'm definitely going to call it something the Crime Dog. What is with this seductive radio?
I don't know. I stopped watching.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, it's clearly not in as grounded a world as the TV show is, and that's saying something.
Yeah, they travel through a time butthole.
Yeah, well, the TV show is more sci-fi ungrounded, and this show is more cartoon animals ungrounded. This game, rather, is more cartoon animals ungrounded. Yeah, so if you grew up and you loved this show, sorry.
You deserved better.
Yeah, we'll look at more Carmen Sandiego shows, because I've seen a decent chunk of the Netflix one, and I liked it a lot.
And we also haven't defeated the game show.
That's true. There's another game show as well that we haven't looked at yet, the time travel one.
Yeah.
I forgot she time travels as well.
I told you.
Yeah, I know.
She goes through time and space.
Yeah. She's unstoppable. Like, how could anyone stop her?
You can't.
No wonder nobody can find her. She's probably not even on Earth all the time when people are looking.
She's a quantum conundrum.
Like, how are you supposed to find where in the world is Carmen Sandiego if she's not in the world?
What if you're exactly where she is, but she's 20 years ago?
Yeah, right? She's so cool. Just let her get away with it.
I want to be Carmen Sandiego when I grow up.
Women want to be her and men want to be with her. And also the women want to be with her. And some of the men want to be her. That's fine too.
We're not here to judge.
Not today. Not you.
But you are?
Well, we'll judge Carmen Sandiego. No. I mean, we're not here to judge you, the listener.
Oh.
But we are here to judge Carmen Sandiego.
You made it sound like we were doing good cop, bad cop today.
Yeah. Mel's not here to judge you, but I sure am. Clean those nails. When's the last time you brushed those teeth?
Never. You'll never make me.
I guess we're done. Let's end this
Put
charade.
an end to my suffering.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. If you'd like to support this show for some reason, you can go to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub, where there are options for doing that. Thank you to our current patrons, Mark Kelly and Jamie Core.
Thanks, freaks.
You've been with us for some time now, and we love you.
Freaks.
I'm Skull Pirate Mike, and you can find me on Blue Sky, where I post updates about this show usually, and also on Twitch and stuff, where I stream. I'm almost done with Persona 5, and then I'm going to play Chrono Trigger like I promised I would on the Chrono Trigger episode.
Yay, Chrono Trigger! I should play Chrono Trigger again.
Why don't you?
Because now we're stuck repossessing items.
Oh, yeah. We're playing Repo right now. But you can't join us.
Sorry, our lobby's full.
Full of 2 people.
Yeah.
Bye! Oh, I guess I got disconnected.
Oh, so that's what that noise was. Well, that made it into my recording. It's me roasting you. It was very funny. It's very funny watching you putter around scared and alone and peeing a little bit. I'm gonna stop the recording, and I hope nothing happened to yours.